This is Joe Castello's WFO Radio Ignition, covering everything that has wheels, an engine, and a driver.
The reason I race is to get the chicks. You know what I mean?
NASCAR, IndyCar, Formula One, sports cars, and NHRA drag racing.
Hey guys, just want to let you know, WFO rocks.
WFO Radio is total motorsports.
It's just so cool.
Fasten your seatbelts, fire up the ignition, and drop the hammer.
Yeah, let's do it.
Now, here's your host, Joe Castello.
WFO, what's up, everybody? One of those from a hotel room somewhere in Johnson City, Tennessee shows that you all love so much. Welcome to WFO Ignition. I am Joe Castello, and this is a podcast that I am sure in time you will eventually grow to love. And thank you so much. Giovanni in Miami is back in the mothership. Giovanni, how are things?
Excellent. Everything is in order. Nothing going on here. Just move along. Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here. You haven't burned down the mothership just yet.
Not yet. I'm working on that before I go, though.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. No, great stuff. We've got the big, giant motorsports weekend coming up, and we had to get on the air. But I will tell the WFO audience, this week, believe it or not, I don't think there's going to be an NHRA Nitro until after Memorial Day. I am fresh back from the NHRA Virginia Nationals, and really, I went from home to Melbourne, Florida, back home to Richmond, Virginia, and now I have driven from Richmond to Johnson City, Tennessee, and I'm not going to be able to connect with any of the drivers. It's just not going to happen. And so we're just going to put off NHRA Nitro till next week. So this is it, peoples. This is the show. And if you're an NHRA Nitro listener and you're like, hey, let me click this other show because I don't see Nitro, why don't you stick around and hear some of the witty banter? These Joe Trapped in a Hotel Room shows turn out to be pretty funny every now and again. Plus, we've got all this great stuff. We've got the big Indy 500. We have got the Grand Prix of Monaco. Of course, we've got the Coke 600. I see everybody talking about, is it too long? I say no. I think most of the other races are too long and can be shortened. But we got to have one super long race. I think that's cool. This is it. I like tradition. I'm okay with having a day of racing that lasts like 16 hours. I like that. I like the fact it's a racing holiday and I can build my entire weekend around it. But that is a discussion for another time, I guess. But bottom line, had a great time out in Richmond, Virginia. A lot of WFO listeners, a lot of fans, a lot of people who said positive things about the program and the podcast. Thank you so much. Ron Capps getting the win. Andrew Hines, Steve Torrance getting the win. Bo Butner, another win. It's kind of interesting the way these things work. 3 in a row for Steve, 2 in a row for Capps, like 3 in a row for Andrew Hines. Has won pretty much all races except for Vegas, where he did not launch off the starting line. We're going to have them on the show next week. But all in all, very, very fun, very cool, good times. And just learned a whole lot about the folks of Virginia. And what was interesting, and this is why, like this particular show, this could go like 20 minutes, or this could go an hour. Gio, I don't think it's going any more than an hour, though. Because
I'll set the timer.
Please, because I'm fried, honestly. Like if I'm being straight with the audience, right? I would love to give the impression, put up the, the image that standing on the starting line and baking for 6 hours yesterday did not have any effect on me. And that I'm just like, no problem. But then driving like 5 hours, I'm done, man. What am I even going to talk about here? What are we even talking about? I'm fried. But the reason is because I want, we got to connect with the audience, man. And so Giovanni in Miami is going to do all the heavy lifting. But I'm going to tell you about something cool that I did today. Of course, we got to get in about Kyle Larson, little all-star action. I watched a fair amount. I listened to much of it on the radio as well, which gives me a good insight into the way it's all working. And it sounded exciting, looked exciting. The big fight, Clint Bowyer, Ryan Newman. Did you see that? The rapid-fire punches, boom, 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 boom. And Newman just gets out of the car, very unfazed. Clint Bowyer Back where I'm from, that gets you a punch in the nose.
No, I think Newman just had like some flies in his face, and Bowyer was trying to like knock him off for him.
He definitely was not Deontay Wilder.
Oh,
Did you see that? I didn't see it in real time, but I saw the YouTube. First, listen, I am looking. This is a Sports Collision thing, but I'm sure it'll come up. I like boxing. Yes, it's barbaric and brutal and old school, but it's early century. And my desire to keep horse racing going and boxing going comes from the same place. I like the old school stuff, right? More than this MMA and mixed martial arts octagon stuff. Give me a good heavyweight bout, and I'm into it. But since Mike Tyson went away, we haven't had too many of those. Well, I don't know, 8 months ago, and I might have talked about it on the show, I stumbled upon Deontay Wilder, and I said, all right, man, this is going to be my guy. I like this dude. He is a big, bruiser. And 1 minute into the fight this week, which I just watched, I had heard about it. But anyway, one of the most devastating knockouts of the century, right? Of the 2000s. That was a brutal, decisive punch. Did you see it, Giovanni?
of course, I absolutely saw it. It was just, I don't even know what to say, man. It was brutal. I guess brutal is a perfect description because
guy just walked
he
into
just
it, man.
knocked him out. I mean,
It was a
there was no
totally-
continuation of that fight. I mean, I don't know. The ref was counting for no reason at all. Because the guy even, what was the Brazil? I think is the guy who was
Brazil,
fighting.
yeah, Brazil
Even
from
attempted
Brazil.
to get up.
Wow.
And by the way, I don't know how anyone his first instinct is to get up after that. It's unbelievable. But those of you who have not seen it, just go Google it. Wilder fight, I'm sure, or knockout. Wilder knockout is probably
Wow.
like the first thing will come up because.
Oh, I loved boxing as a kid, and it's obviously very highly technical. This was just a freight train. Oh, my gosh. So anyway, we can talk about that. Also, the Preakness, Gio, you could give me some Preakness results.
Oh, I wouldn't even know. I didn't watch.
Oh, man. What's funny is I'm not seeing any publicity of the Preakness, and I do want to give I want to delve back into it. Something very special is going to happen on this show, in fact. So I've queued up like 50 things that are going to happen, and I've said that the show is going to last 15 minutes. And so this is going to be like a new rapid fire format. Are you ready for the rapid fire format, Gio?
I'm ready.
It's going to be like Sports Collision, the 2 minutes, and then move on to the next subject, except without the sound effect. Here we go. So first of all, what I did, it's just so much when you miss a few shows, and of course your opinions are.
So did you write this? Did you take notes? Is that what it is? And you're about to go through them?
No, I have a scratch paper.
Like Joe's minutes?
I've got a scratch paper with some hieroglyphics on it. It looks like the Nightman lyrics, and I'm going to try my best. Starting with, I got to go to an amazing automotive museum a few weeks ago. I guess it was last Tuesday and Wednesday. One of the reasons we couldn't do an Ignition show was I was driving up to this private automotive museum called the American Muscle Car Museum, and had a great time. It was very cool doing a new show that is coming out. And wow, man, some unbelievable cars, one-of-one cars, Indy 500 cars, just amazing cars, and it was cool. And then went on to Richmond. So the Richmond race was the Richmond race, and we had a great time, as I started to say before. But today, I have to be in Johnson City, Tennessee. So when I booked my travel, I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to drive from Richmond to Johnson City because it's a great opportunity to see the country and go on a cruise. And so, as it turns out, I found out, it makes sense that a lot of Civil War stuff happened in this part of the country, as most people know. And I followed along the path of General Lee, his retreat to Appomattox Courthouse. And so I kind of drove what they did in a few days and decided to stop in it's like a town called Appomattox Courthouse. And it was a trading post way back in the day. Wagon trains would go through there, and then it kind of built up and became a spot. So it's a Civil War town, and it's a national landmark. And so they have preserved many of the buildings or reconstructed the buildings exactly as they were in 1865. So that's what I did. I got to stand in the exact location where General Lee surrendered the Army of Northern Virginia to General Grant, and the Civil War came to an end. And man, it was amazing. The past couple of weeks I've been doing all this heavy-duty history stuff with the D.C. and the United States Marine Corps Museum, the National Museum of the United States Marine Corps, the Capitol, all the stuff that I've done in the past couple of weeks. And so, man, let me go see Appomattox Courthouse. Middle of nowhere. I don't know that I will ever make it back ever again. Like, this was the opportunity. And if you haven't done it, if you're interested in this at all, like, think of all the blood that was shed in the Civil War. And to think, and they have a lot of very interesting stuff about the surrender and who was there. They have a bio of every single person that was in the involved. Amazing stuff. And then I proceeded on down to Johnson City. And here I am. All right, so let's rapid fire. Let's get old stuff off the deck. The Kentucky Derby. I am the type of person who likes to reevaluate my opinions just to make sure I'm right. On this show, I was kind of up in the air about my opinion about what happened. And after spending some time with my great friend Slash, who is a degenerate gambler and whose dad is very helpful in my horse racing endeavors, they both, mostly Bill Slash, did agree with you, Giovanni. Agree with you that it was a terrible travesty of a judgment call, and that they should not have made the call. But he did preface this by saying he did have an $800 worth win ticket, and so he might be biased. So I was prepared to come on the show and, say, like, hey, I've evaluated it in my opinion, and I'm updating my opinion to, okay, I understand now why people are upset. Then he said flat out exactly what you said, ruined the Kentucky Derby. Like, it just kind of ruined, buzzkilled the whole thing. But then, since speaking with him, I spoke with some other horse racing people that are knowledgeable, and they said the other thing. They said, no, that you've got to make the call, blah, blah, blah. So now I'm back to just like neutral.
You're a flopper, number one.
I am.
And
I'm
you
flopping.
should just have prefaced this all by saying that I was correct. I was right, because that's exactly what you're trying to allude to.
No,
that in the end,
I
was right.
in
My
terms of you
opinion
being right.
was the right
I'm just
one.
saying that other people are agreeing with you, and that
Because
it
it's
did
the
ruin
right
the race
opinion.
for people. Well, I was set to say that, but then some other people factored in, and now it's just like, I don't know, I'm just going to squash it and move beyond it, which I guess is part of the negative aspect of it. Like, it just killed the whole thing, which I get that. But yeah, man, Slash had $846 or something.
Yeah, that's a little bit not good.
Yeah, he was very upset. Oh man.
A lot of wagers were lost on that decision.
Oh, and I guess something I don't even realize, but something happened with the Preakness. Like somebody fell off their horse, and the horseless horse won the riderless horse won the race or something.
Well, technically, he didn't win because there was no rider. But yeah, the rider fell off right at the gate apparently, and the horse took off.
What? And did it win or?
Well, I didn't actually watch the race, but I did see a story. So obviously he doesn't win, But I haven't seen the video, I kind of decided that I just wasn't gonna play ball.
You're gonna like black it out. You're boycotting it. But then look, they bring us back with some sort of weird thing. I have seen nothing.
Isn't that appropriate that if the horse with no rider went on and beat all the other horses?
Well, he's a lot lighter.
I did hear that they tried to reel him in, and he wasn't having it. He just kept going.
That's funny. Well,
I mean, it's only a couple minutes. I guess I could search it on that interweb thing one.
War
later.
of Will wins in dramatic
Yes,
rebound.
that
So
I do know that.
War of
It was
Will
War of
is
Will.
the one that rusts.
I got a gazillion pushes saying War of Will won.
You know what's funny is I'm not receiving my any push notifications about any horse racing stuff. So anyway, long and short of it is,
Dude, Bleacher and the NBC app sends you everything that they do. There is nothing that they don't push out on you. And
that's interesting.
Yes,
I get Bleacher Report stuff, but I guess I selected Yankees and that's it. But interesting. Game of Thrones season finale, like Game of Thrones.
That was awesome, dude.
Finale.
Yeah, I was there glued to the TV.
You didn't watch it. You don't participate in the cultural phenomenon.
Not all of them.
The cultural phenomenon, but people are mad, man. People are mad.
I've heard that. I don't understand it. Like, what is so upsetting about
It's hard to end shows. That's the problem.
Yeah. So what's
Name a show that ended well.
No, and everybody got upset at Seinfeld, Sopranos, everything.
Yeah, it's just hard when you go through this story and then to like wrap it up. That's what movies are for. Movies end. TV shows, you spend 8 years with these people, and then what are you going to do?
It's almost better when they get canceled because it just ends abruptly, and it's better than something you don't like.
Yeah, well, this is one of the most successful shows in the history of television. Game of Thrones, like giant.
Yeah, I did see a stat though. I mean, I know it's HBO and stuff, but I heard the live number is only like not very impressive, like 13 point something million.
It's for a subscription service, man.
I do get that, but
that's like pretty amazing.
Yeah, no, it's definitely
It's the most watched. The one against the Dead People was the most watched show in the history of HBO.
All right.
So whatever the numbers are, they're the best they've ever been in the history of HBO.
I do agree that it is phenomenal, and I did preface it by saying that it is pay TV, but again, 13.8 mil is like, not that high of a number of it for an NFL game.
Well, for an NFL game, but look, you watch the NFL, that's simple, easy programming. To watch the ball get chased around, like the Dungeons and Dragons thing is a turnoff to some people. I got to see the water bottle, though. Apparently, they left another water bottle.
I would have sent it to you, yeah.
Looking it up right now.
It's by somebody's foot in a scene where guys are all sitting down.
Are you kidding me? Like, what is going on with this?
Oh, and I just saw somebody on Twitter. I just opened the Twitter sphere, and I see the horse knocking, I guess, out of the number 9 thing.
Oh, my God.
Knocking the guy right off. Did you see that yet?
No, now I'm on the water bottle.
Oh, the water bottle. Okay.
A water bottle made a cameo appearance. That's just unbelievable.
It's a little bit sad that that's what people, are looking for now and are, really fascinated with. I mean, to me, it's a bit ridiculous, but.
It's funny. Are you hearing that?
No.
Oh, my God. I'm getting an advertisement.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they wouldn't even.
No.
They wouldn't let me get off of it, but you guys couldn't hear it. That's good.
No, I did not hear anything.
That's good. So anyway.
So disappointment for the big show then?
I was okay with it.
I got to tell you, over the last few weeks, all the big, the super fans of the show, everything I've read, they're they hate it like poison there. I've even seen people that are calling for a rewrite of the final season with real writers or something.
They are. They're calling for a rewrite.
That's ridiculous. People, get a grip. It's just a damn show.
Well, what it is they made you really like these people, and you were really hoping for an outcome, and they gave you a totally different outcome, like something that is bad. And, like spoiler alert, I guess I could just talk about it, because if you haven't watched Game of Thrones at this point, like they're talking about it all day. Like I watched it this morning on my phone. That's what I did. I watched it on my phone.
I watched it. Yeah, I watched it I did not watch it.
That's the whole thing, the cultural phenomenon aspect about it. You can't go on Instagram. You can't go on Facebook. You can't go on Twitter. You can't watch the news. You can't go anywhere because it will be ruined for you. And when you have 8 years invested, you got to see it. So, well, whatever. It's over. And that's it. I guess I won't go in detail with it until next week. But nobody's happy. Everybody's disappointed.
The blonde girl doesn't win the Game of Thrones?
No. Do you know who Jon Snow is?
I do know who Jon Snow is.
All right, spoiler alert coming in 3, 2, 1. Jon Snow kills her.
Oh, no Schmidt.
Yeah, I know. He kisses her and tells her he loves her and plunges a dagger into her heart. Kills her.
Wowzers.
Yeah, man. And that's it. Game over.
So he wins? He's the king?
No. For murdering her, he gets sentenced to punishment. And he has to go up and
who wins? Who gets to be the king or queen or what have you?
Well, exactly.
Who gets to rule the empire?
The kid in the
wheelchair. Who
gets
to be the emperor? The kid in the wheelchair.
The kid in the wheelchair.
Know there was a kid in the wheelchair.
Bran the Broken, the three-eyed raven. He ends up, which is actually probably a smart deal. The whole thing is this, that, the whole thing was that there's a horrible world and they want to make a better world. And but everybody that's involved in this Game of Thrones has to end up being an evil prick. And the blonde girl, turned into an evil prick because the game corrupts you. And so the last episode, she murdered 50,000 people. She killed everybody, man. She killed everybody with her dragon. She just went rogue and started killing everybody. And for 30 minutes in the show, just killed and killed. Hey, there's a child with a mother suckling and she charred him. They had surrendered, man. They had surrendered. It was over.
Well, I mean, sometimes that kind of stuff happens, man.
War crimes, man. That's what people.
Yeah, but this was barbaric times, man. This wasn't this isn't like after the Geneva Convention.
Oh,
this is back in the day.
She was supposed to be the breaker of chains and the one who frees people and the good person. That's what she was positioned as for 7 years. And then all of a sudden she snapped and killed everybody. Right. And we understand why.
I think it sounds kind of cool, though.
Oh, it was. Oh, this last season was a really great for everything you ever wanted to see on the show. You want to see dragons destroy a whole city? You want to see dragons destroy a city? You got it. You want to see, an army of dead people and fight them for an hour and a half? You got it. All kinds of great stuff. It was great. And in the end, a little dissatisfying. It's just okay, so that's it, huh? And that's it. They're off. That's it. Yeah, that's it. It's over. Game of Thrones. The Game of Thrones is over. And good riddance, honestly. Enough of that. It was good. I watched it. It was part of my life. Do I look back on it as fondly as a Boardwalk Empire? No. I really wish I had watched Boardwalk Empire with the rest of the citizens. But whatever. On to the next thing now. When will the next cultural phenomenon come along?
I sent you a picture of the real winner of the Game of Thrones.
When?
I
now?
texted it to you earlier today. Or earlier.
Oh, I don't know it.
No, I guess, yeah. Yeah, that's...
I'll check.
Yeah, you're gonna have to check up on that one.
Oh, here we go. Oh, it's Tony Soprano on the Iron Throne.
and look at the background in the top of this throne.
That's the horse.
It's Pai-O-Mai.
Yeah, Pai-O-Mai, a general. I'm not a real general from history. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is this?
There you go.
Yeah, I forget who it was, but we got a lot of tweets on that show. People agree with you that Sopranos was the best show ever. So you're getting a lot of this episode is a lot of Gio was right. A lot of Gio was right.
We should just have a Gio is right segment every week. I mean,
well, but it doesn't happen every week. This is a rare thing.
I mean, I'm always throwing stuff up there, and I'm right most of the time. I mean, I'd venture to say the vast, overwhelming majority.
I doubt.
I mean, I don't want to say perfect record because I think that would be an exaggeration. But,
no, I mean, you're right occasionally, just as much as any other person. But it's not
I'd say a lot more than an average person.
I think you're right in line with the average human. Tiger Woods didn't make the cut. How about that one? How did you send me the results, man? I've been searching this whole time. It's just been a fill of the All-Star race.
Did I send them to you? No.
This whole time I've been searching for your email with the results of the All-Star race. Do you think I really wanted to talk Game of Thrones? That was just fill, man. I was just filling time.
You know, it's on. There's a spot where you could find them, and it's really easy now.
Now, you know how it is. Like
after all these years, yes.
After breaking the habit. And we got to talk fantasy because Steve the Trucker took over the lead in the league, and we haven't done a show yet.
Oh, yeah. I did get a message asking when the show was going to be on.
Hey, guys. You going to do a show? I took over the lead. Nah, we're not doing a show.
Nope, sorry, Steve. No can do.
No show for you. But I took over. I took over the lead. Yeah. No, we're going to do a show as soon as you lose the lead. No, just kidding, Steve.
No, but just hang on one more week, and Joe will be in studio, next week. And
when did this happen?
Oh,
my
goodness!
Breaking news? Is this breaking news? Excuse me. See, I'm just catching up. Everybody's. Yeah, man, I'm about to break news. When did this happen? 23 minutes ago. 3-time Formula One world champion Niki Lauda has passed away at 70 years old. The Austrian has been battling health issues since last year.
Holy cow.
Lung transplant in August required a 2-month stay in the hospital. He was then hospitalized again for a short period. This is a story from Andrew Van Leeuwen on motorsport.com, where I just happened to go, and it has just been posted. He succumbed to his ill health, passing away on Monday. Surrounded by family. With deep sadness, we announced that our beloved Niki has peacefully passed away with his family on Monday. Wow, man. Niki Lauda was a tough freaking dude. You remember the movie and the characterization of the burns and everything? Like, there's no way that was exaggerated. Like, you burn in a vicious fire, it hurts. And for him to come back and, man, that sucks. I mean, as much as the death of a total stranger can suck. Still. Well, there you go. That was just more fill till the results come in.
I did. I sent them.
All right. They have yet to arrive.
All right. Well, Kyle Larson wins. You know that.
No, I know that, but I want to look. Thank you. But you're watching in a bar. You don't really have the. Harvick was fast. That's right. They had a pit problem late in the going. He called out the crew again. Keep shooting ourselves in the foot. Kyle Busch ended up kind of getting in the wall. 3rd. Joey Logano 4th. Bubba Wallace 5th. They took 2 tires late in the going. Eric Almirola 6th. Austin Dillon 7th. Bowman the Showman 8th. William Lord Byron 9th. And Martin Truex Jr. 10th. I got to flex my Bowman the Showman knowledge in a conversation with some folks. I forget who exactly it was, but they were talking about Alex Bowman and that they know the guy who invented the name Bowman the Showman for Alex Bowman, works in, as a producer, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that is inaccurate. Bowman the Showman was a figure skater from the early 1980s that participated in the Olympics, et cetera, and so on. People are like, what? And I just dropped some Bowman the Showman science on people. And that all comes from WFO, man. Work put in here. Yeah.
I can't believe you busted out with Bowman the Showman, figure skater.
Well, they came up to me. They were talking Bowman the Showman about the NASCAR race. And I was like, actually, this is where the nickname started. The original Bowman the Showman is this guy. And then they brought up the movie Blades of Glory. Like, have you ever seen Blades of Glory?
I actually have.
Is it funny?
I think it was. I don't remember.
I was told I have to. Chaz Michaels is Bowman the Showman.
Is that who it's based on?
Yes, that apparently is. I have yet to see Blades of Glory. I'm sorry. We'll do a Joe old movie review at some point.
It's not ancient. 2007. I have seen it. I do recall now that I see the pictures with Will
Ferrell.
Yeah, and the blonde kid is the nerd from the movie. I don't even know.
Anyway, Blades of Glory. I'll have to check it out. But let's get into the big fight. How is it being received? Is this getting a lot of extra attention? Those were several pretty, it wasn't a Devontae Wilder punch, but
Napoleon Dynamite. Yeah, I win.
What about it?
That's who the other figure skater is. It's
Seth
Will Ferrell and Napoleon Dynamite.
That's great. I'm gonna have to watch it.
And I recall it was good. Definitely worth watching.
This looks creepy. Watch it on Prime for $2.99 right now. Wow, look at that. They've got Amazon Prime integrated into IMDb. So you go and you look up a movie and you can immediately just watch it for $2. Amazing.
Look at that.
Incredible.
Dude, they want easy access to all your money, dude.
That's it. And I could easily see myself clicking on it and watching in this hotel room. As soon as the show's over.
That's what happens. You get caught watching it.
Bang. Just like that. But I don't know. Brian Newman took the punches, then got out, went after Bowyer, and
only Newman can get out of the car so calmly and just be like, go talk to Bowyer afterwards and just tell him, hey, what's your problem?
Yeah, Bowyer lost it.
Newman didn't even seem pissed that this guy was wailing on him or trying to.
I don't think he was landing those punches. We're hitting the seat or something. I don't know. And then Bowyer left his helmet.
Or the net or something. I don't know, but Newman was great though. I love the Newman reaction even better.
I never heard his commentary. I haven't yet to hear what Newman had to say.
He essentially said that he doesn't understand what the hell Bowyer's upset about, and that Bowyer should be ashamed of himself for trying to hit a man that's while he's wearing a helmet and the other guy is still in the car and can't even get out. Hasn't even been able to get out. He goes, he should be embarrassed for attacking me that way, pretty much.
You fairy.
Yeah, it's basically what he called him. He's like, if he was a real man, he'd wait for me to get out of the car and whoop his ass.
Wow.
Because, that's what you'd expect from Newman. I would, of all the guys, I definitely don't want to fight Newman. I mean, first of all, I don't want to fight anybody. Let's preface that.
Ever again in my life. Ever again. I don't want to fight anyone ever again. Can we all agree on that one? There are people who like to scrap and stuff. I am not that guy.
I don't even want to fight an 8-year-old at this point in my life, to be honest with you.
Wow. No, I agree. No stress, man. Let's go with that. So, of course, qualifying for the Indy 500, Simon Pagenaud on the pole. Front row is Ed Carpenter and Spencer Pigot. Kind of interesting. Ed Jones, Colton Herta, and Will Power are the second row. And I don't know if you saw the news of today about Little Al. I don't even want to get into it. Little Al. I know about the story. You can look it up, but I want to leave the guy to his privacy. That's a bummer.
Guy got picked up.
Yeah, Little Al. I mean, okay, but really, not that I advocate letting people go.
But you're about to.
But I'm about to. Come on, Little Al gets pulled over in Indianapolis, and they don't just drop him off home.
I gotta agree with you on this one. And again, we're not advocating that people go around doing drinking and driving, and especially very well intoxicated, from what I heard. But that's the kind of stuff that guy should. The cops should have taken him home.
Yeah, and at the same time, Al should have taken an Uber or a buddy or a friend or something. Like, there's got to be a way to avoid that nowadays. It's got to be. But anyway, very unfortunate, very sad. He's the driver, coach for Colton Herta. But it's going to be an interesting race. Chevrolets just dominate the front row, and than it is a mix of Chevys and Hondas throughout. But the idea that Fernando Alonso is the guy who missed the field, like, that's just so bad, but also good. What's your point, Gio? What's your take that it shows that this is not easy to do?
That's it. That it's not that easy to just come in there and field the team from scratch and start running at it in the Indy series.
Right. One-off race.
Especially on a one-off situation like that. It's one thing for a driver to come out and drive for a team that runs the series and every week or so. But I think in this case especially, it just goes to show you it's not easy, people. Nothing is easy.
Nothing is easy. That is so true.
People are so great at what they do that they make it appear to be easy.
I went and saw Double-A baseball last Thursday up in Richmond. The Richmond Flying Squirrels are a Double-A team from the Giants organization. And these guys could play. But they played well. Like, these guys are huge guys, Double-A ball, right? But they were making errors left and right also. And that's the thing about the pros. Like, they're perfect most of the time. And so you watch them and you think, man, that's easy. It's not easy. Anybody that's a pro, whatever they do, it ain't easy.
Well, I went to a college game not too long ago, and the size of those guys is amazing too. I mean, they're all big guys, man, and it's just that they're not quite, they're not quite major league ready. Is really
right.
Is all you can say. But they're the worst guy on the field is superbly talented.
Superbly talented. Like if even
if you go to college,
players,
even if you're good enough to walk on, you have to be super talented. You're so much better than anybody else in your neighborhood,
in your county, etc.
Yeah.
So there's a huge battle at the top of the fantasy points. I can see her Almirolas. That's Steve the Trucker has a 28-point lead over Patrick the Webmaster, who has fallen out of first. Jambalaya J Racing is third. Craig and Newhall fourth. Mr. Fantasy NASCAR climbing up. Only 57 points, even though he did lose a position. Royal Flush Racing is 6th. Southern Racer X is 7th. Rich and Saugus is 8th. Team 12 is 9th. And Bug Barn rounding out the top 10. Bull's Wool just behind. But we've got a good little battle shaping up now. And even though we're still getting used to this new site, we are, the name will go on the trophy just the same as any other year. There will not be an asterisk or anything like that. So you might as well get in on this. And you better play to win. That's what I have to say. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm having a tough season, but I'm going to hopefully work my way back now. It's, it's still early. We're just at the All-Star race.
Exactly. I gained 6 positions. I'm 41st. Lostin Gones is 44th. Giovanni and I am 30. You're 37th. You're a couple in front of me. You're like 30 points in front of me.
All right, so it's not as terrible as I thought. I thought it was in the 50s.
Little Low is 34th. Looks like he's setting a team again.
Oh, poor Gray. Look at where he's at.
That's horrible. What happened? Because you didn't let him in the password again?
No. I think he finally had it. He didn't lose any spots this week.
He gained 2.
Yeah, you see, he needs to have a big week though. No. He's got full. Well, I don't want to get into full details, but he had there was no race this weekend, so this is based on last week. He had full access last week. He just made poor choices, I guess, or I don't know how many points he scored. But obviously, if he went up, he couldn't have had a terrible week.
So get this. McLaren apologized to Alonso after Indy failure. McLaren sporting director Gilles de Ferran has issued a public apology to the fans, the team, the partners, and Fernando Alonso after failing to qualify for the Indy 500. Alonso has failed to make the cut for the iconic race this weekend after losing out in Sunday's last row shootout between 6 cars. It caps off a miserable week for the Spaniard and McLaren, with the team struggling from the outset and Alonso involved in a big crash on Wednesday during practice session. Alonso missed the cut by an average of 0.019 mile per hour, and an entry will not be bought from another team. Wow. DeFerrin issued a heartfelt apology to everyone involved with McLaren and thanked Alonso for his efforts. I think, last but not least, I want to thank the man here on my left, Alonso. DeFerrin said, I want to apologize to you because we didn't give you a car that was fast enough. You know, you drove like the champion that we know you are, particularly these last 3 days. It's been incredibly tense and very difficult. We couldn't have asked anything more of you, Fernando. I'm sorry, man. You're an amazing driver. Wow. Also, meanwhile, had mixed emotions as his plans to win the Triple Crown are now back on hold. Yeah, he can't win the Triple Crown because he's not going to win the Indy 500. I think there are always things you learn and things you can improve on for next time you're here, the next challenge, not only the Indy 500, but as a driver. I still feel proud, says Alonso. Obviously, I'm disappointed because now we're not going to be in the race. But as I said, even for McLaren, this will be a bit thin for the next 2 or 3 days, but then everyone will forget. Wow. That's just amazing. They made that program. Like, think about that. The decision to make that program, McLaren, they're going to come over. They're going to try to qualify for the Indy 500. They got Fernando Alonso. He just almost won the race a year ago, and they DNQ. Epic fail. And they posted a couple of $1 million into that, man. That's like a multi-million-dollar program.
Oh, for sure.
You know, like, I don't know how much, but like definitely, $3 million, $2 million.
I was going to say at least a few.
To, buy all the stuff and make it all happen. Wow. Pretty amazing stuff. And Grand Prix of Monaco, Sunday morning, going to start us off. What is the Haas F1 report, Giovanni?
Let's see, Haas, what we got here. All systems go for Monaco.
After getting points last race, looked pretty good in Spain. All systems go for Monaco. Here we go. Here we go.
Yeah, double points last week. We in Spain. Last week? No, not last week, but
fresh off a double points finish in the Spanish Grand Prix May 12th at Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, Rich Energy Haas F1 team heads into the 6th round of the FIA1 World Championship. Monaco, intent to repeat its performance. Drivers Romain Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen delivered the organization's first double points result in the 2017 Monaco Grand Prix when Grosjean finished 8th and Magnussen finished 10th. Barcelona marked Rich Energy Haas F1 team's 8th double points effort since its 2016 debut, and more importantly, provided a much-needed reset after 3 finishes outside the points, dropped the squad from 4th to 8th in the constructor ranks. But thanks to the 7 collective points earned in Barcelona, Rich Energy Haas F1 team bounced back to 6th in the standings, 2 points behind 5th place, with a 2-point margin over 7th place Alfa Romeo. So they're in a big dog fight. It's going to be interesting. Hey, Monaco is tough, man. You got to qualify, and it's very processional, but someone's got to win it, and so we'll see who it's going to be. Last year it was who? Max.
No, Ricardo.
It was Ricardo, who is not going to win it this year.
Definitely not.
Interesting.
But Max has a good shot because I believe that the Red Bull does very well in those short turns and.
Yeah, I'm seeing some stories, though. I'm seeing some stories that they may have lost their edge. I don't know if that's true or not, but we'll see. So, Grand Prix of Monaco in the morning. We'll be rooting for Haas F1. It's going to be super exciting. Then the Indy 500. Do you have a pick? I'm always rooting for Marco, obviously, but I don't think that's happening.
Alonso. Oh, no, sorry. I don't think that's happening either.
I don't think that's happening, man. Elio winning 4 would be good. And Ed Carpenter. That's my 3. Marco, Elio, Ed Carpenter. I would be super happy if Ed Carpenter won the race. I just want that big America story since I've been chasing history these past couple of weeks.
Then Alexander Rossi.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be good. But I want Ed Carpenter because he's a sprint car guy. Elio for the 4. Marco for the Andretti. And Ed Carpenter for America. There you have it. What about Sports Collision?
Well, Pagano was leading practice today from what I read somewhere.
Yeah, well, Penske.
Well,
they're good. They're good at the Speedway.
The captain.
Yeah.
And I know that there's going to be, I saw on that same report that the drivers are doing the multi-city media tour thingamajiggy.
Good.
So
Get the pub.
they'll be out there trying to put it out.
I'm glad we don't drag race on this weekend. There have been times in the past where they've had races on Memorial Day. I just don't think there's the space. Very interesting. All right, Sports Collision, bring us home.
Sports Collision NBA playoffs conference finals are coming to, I guess, close to conclusions. In one, we have Milwaukee and Toronto. Milwaukee's up 2-1. Toronto won Game 3 at home. I believe it was Sunday night. And in the other series, Golden State is up 3-0. And Game 4 is being played as we speak.
Is Kevin Durant hurt?
Kevin Durant got hurt a few games ago, like in the one of the last games in the Houston series. And it did not look good up on the video. At first, they were speculating that it might have been an Achilles. The word that they gave the team was some sort of calf injury. But he's definitely not in Portland, and it looks like that if Golden State wins tonight, I think it's been a close game so far, and even if Golden State doesn't win tonight, they are more than likely going to win this series. When NBA, when you're up 3-0, they win,
right?
And and then I guess we'll see what happens, but that's been kind of interesting. The hockey, I saw Game 7 the other night that I watched for a little while, and I know, that I know that they're in their kind of not quite yet to the finals also. But
how about the New York Yankees ascending to their rightful place atop the AL East?
Well, I hate to brag, but the Yankees did take over this weekend at twice. They actually won on Friday, which had put them in first place, but then they regained first place again yesterday, but we'll see what happens today. They're in a dogfight right now in Baltimore. I heard they had an issue with the team plane. That even the team plane is on the IL. They had to take the bus from New York to Baltimore.
How crazy. But man, they're 28-17 as of the moment. That's pretty good.
Yeah, best record in the East, and not quite as good a record as Houston, but they are still an injured bunch, so let's see. I heard Didi was played a single A ball game today, and I believe so did Giancarlo.
And he hit a home run in his first rehab appearance.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So that's going to be good. Very exciting. I had fun at the Squirrels game, AA baseball in a town that's a big thing. It was fun. They had, it was a show sitting right on top of the field. Good times.
Awesome.
Yeah. I liked it. I prefer going to a major league game, but they don't hand you a free ticket to go to the major league game. I mean, in Miami they do. And how about the Marlins sweeping the Mets? Louis Bloom. It was a great moment. Louis Bloom is like, the Mets are playing the Marlins. Something, bringing it up just to have a conversation. And I was like, yeah, well, Marlins are, Yankees Junior with Jeter and Mattingly and all those guys. And we laughed about it. And he was saying that the Mets could lose. And I was, saying, yeah, you know what, honestly, the Marlins could beat the Mets because they win games that, you wouldn't expect. And they did. They swept them.
Yeah, no joke. And they saw the good pitchers, too. They saw Thor and the guy that won the Cy Young.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's it. The Marlins stepped up. It was interesting. The guy who won the Cy Young.
I can't remember his name right now for the life of me.
Small, something, Shield, whatever. Anyway, any other final thoughts as this very half-ass hotel show draws to a close? And there will be no Nitro this week either.
Wow, but hey, man, you're just phoning it in, kind of literally.
But literally. No, I'm sorry. What can I do, man? I can't figure it out. This is just the travel schedule of Performance TV. Doing my best, man. Doing my best.
You have to do like a live version on Skype
God,
or something.
If you could see me live. Now, I think hopefully the audience understands. The podcast audience understands that there's just... Today was fun, though, man. Cruising across the country, convertible Camaro, but I had the top up because it was baking. It was so hot. We did a new factory stock podcast last week. Hope everybody got up on that one and checked it out. And NHRA Nitro, I know everybody's not all caught up, so you can go back and catch up, and we'll have one after Memorial Day because Memorial Day is this weekend, a very solemn holiday in the United States of America. And I fully intend to enjoy Monday off, but then we'll be back with NHRA Nitro and headed to Chicago for Jegs All-Stars, etc. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Well, all right, Giovanni, I'm out of material. Unless you got something you want to tell everybody. I say you play the music and we bounce on out of here and let folks dive into the archive and just enjoy all the great interviews that is WFO Radio. Giovanni, take us home.
Enjoy the races.
The views and opinions of the hosts, guests, or callers do not necessarily reflect that of the station ownership, advertisers, or agencies.